Hey folks, Dan Frio here, the Mortgage Update. Today is my birthday, June 22nd. It's my birthday. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so let's get on to it. And it really is my birthday, June 22nd. I am 55 today, and I need a haircut. I was going to go get my haircut, but my family said I had to get home because they had dinner for me, so I had to rush home and didn't get my haircut. So, and I don't color my hair. My beard's completely gray, but my hair's I'm blessed to have a good amount of hair, and it's not gray. So let's get on to it. Enough about me. What I want to talk about today is at the latter section of this, we're going to go over mortgage rates, what happened today, what's happening this week in the economy that might affect rates one way or another. And then the next thing we're going to do is talk about this right here. And this was one of the biggest questions that I usually get a lot of times is when I'm talking to a client, I always say, how much money are you looking to put down? They're like, well, the least amount possible. But the first thing I always say is, you'd be surprised. That amount is a little more probably than you think you're going to need. So we'll get to that to a second. So today is June 22nd in 2020. And so sorry so late. I came home, had dinner with my family, and then I figured I'd post before I head back out and we watch a movie. So what happens in today's market? Well, the MBSs were up 2. Why do we follow this number? I'll go through it real quick for those newbies out there. This is the mortgage-backed securities market. It's a mortgage, it's a group or a bond that sells as an investment that determines mortgage rates. It's not the 10-year Treasury, the 2-year Treasury. The Federal Reserve doesn't control it. It's not the prime rate. It is mortgage-backed securities, has the biggest impact on mortgage rates. We have been very steady, and we as an industry, we like this. Steady for us is very good. It's very good for you guys as well because we're basically at historic lows and we're teetering right there at the bottom, and we just keep staying there. The Federal Reserve has done a great job at stabilizing the markets for the short term, and the short term could be a year or 2 or 3. In the long run, we're probably going to have inflation at some point, folks. So let's worry about that at that time. So let's go over what happened in the market today. The Dow was up 153. So it's odd that we had a pretty good day in mortgage-backed securities and a good day in Wall Street. That's usually odd. Usually there's an inverse relationship there a little bit. Let me go back to this number, though. What we follow here is, and my biggest analogy, and people are starting to make fun of me at work and other clients, is this number. How do we look at this number? Well, up is good, down is bad. So as this number goes up, this is the price of a bond, this mortgage-backed bond. As the price goes up, the yield comes down. That's how bonds work. If you pay more for a bond, you get a lower rate of return. So in this case, normally you want a higher rate of return if you're investing. Well, if you're borrowing, you want a lower rate of return or a lower interest rate. So that's why we follow this. The market's been very stable, but let's go back like to a 1-year chart and you're going to see some, look at this right through here. This was mayhem. This is when the corona started and nobody knew what was going on. But the good thing is we had a nice little uptick in the market. Look at that. Look at that run. That's crazy. But then you had the volatility of this. Look at these volatilities. And I was telling everybody, that's not the norm. The norm is pretty much stability. You don't see the stock market go up, 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 points a day and then crash the next day and whatever. You usually see it's up 30, 40 points, it's down 100 points. It kind of varies, but there's not huge extremes. So what we as lenders had to do during these times, yes, actually the mortgage-backed securities market hit an all-time, I'll say high, which had an all-time low for rates because, again, prices high or prices go up, rates come down. So that being said, we like the stability. During these times, we had to hedge our bet. We basically had to increase our rates as a cushion because we didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring. So that's that. Let's go on. What I normally watch is a few things, and we're going to start our blog. It'll probably be out July 1st, and I'll be trying to blog at least once a week. to kind of give you some ideas on what's going on and what's coming up and so forth. We're going to try to get this blog out daily to kind of recap what I'm saying here and get it out to the masses. But the stock market was up today, which is good. You see a lot of housing prices and housing units and everything. It's all over the board. And I'm not going to generalize here because some markets are doing very well. Some markets are doing very bad. So depending on where you are, there could be a huge disparity there. So what's coming up for this week? A lot of times we watch certain things such as the GDP. This is basically how much the economy is growing. We watch the GDP, we watch inflation rates, we watch employment numbers, we watch freight index numbers. There's a whole slew of things, and that's what our blog's going to go on a daily basis. We watch gold, we watch treasuries, we watch the Dow. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to put next to each category, we're going to say, the GDP was up. Was that good or bad for mortgage rates? And again, it's the rateupdate.com. It's not the stockupdate.com. So we're going to basically caption and saying, the GDP, here's what happened. Here's the effect that it has on mortgage rates. You go down through here, jobless claims, durable good orders, personal spending. We're going to tag the top, probably, I think it was 6 to 8 indexes that we follow or things that we follow, and give you, how that is and did affect the markets. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So China rate decision, nothing happened today. Existing home sales, they were down just a tad, but pretty much in line. New housing, all this stuff tomorrow really shouldn't have any effect on the market, nor for Wednesday. Here's where you get numbers where normally you should have these numbers or these indexes that come out, they should have an effect on the market. And when I generalize the market, they should have an effect on mortgage rates. The crazy thing right now is nothing really is affecting anything. The biggest indicator is how much the Fed is buying each day. Are they buying a bunch of mortgage-backed securities or a low amount? Lately, they've pretty much hit the sweet spot, and they've been able to tag it where we're just staying steady. So that's great news. On to the news front, we have mortgage rates holding ground near lows. Can it continue? And that's what I'm trying to say here. A lot of the data that comes out on a daily basis is people saying, the Fed's not going to do anything with rates. They have no plan on doing anything on rates till at least 2022 or 2023. Guys, well, let me put it this way. If you're right now, your rate is 4% or higher, do something. I mean, every day or every month that you wait, you're losing or you're just throwing away interest. A young man called me today, and this is a great, I guess, package that we put together. He called and said, Dan, you did my mortgage a couple years ago, and I was at 2.875 on a 15-year fixed. He said, I keep getting your newsletter and I keep following you, and rates are, down even lower than that. What should we maybe look to do? And I just got one of your newsletters, and it was really informative, telling me all the pieces of the puzzle about what determines mortgage rates and all this other stuff. So we're going through that, and I said, are you comfortable with the rate or the payment? And he said, well, I got one. I have 3 kids. I have one in college. I have a senior in high school, and I have a junior in high school. High school, they're going to a private Catholic school, and the one in college is, obviously they got tuition there. So they have a lot of tuition coming on a monthly basis. And he said, we're struggling a little bit. And he's like, but the problem is, I might want to look at maybe a little, lengthening that term a little bit. So we discussed some different options. Then it came back to this. We started going over his college tuition bills, and most of the student loans are ranging from 6 to 8% in interest rates. Okay, and then he knows, this coming up, he's going to have 2 in college as of 4 months from now, and then a year from now he's going to have two kids in college, one finally finalizing. And he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do at that time. I said, why don't we look at this? I said, you're at 2.875. And I'm not trying to push your term out and have you pay a ton more interest, but let's look at it this way. You're getting student loans. Those student loans are 6 to 8%. You have a mortgage that you're at 2.875 right now, but if we put you into a 30-year term, I can get you 3.25. Okay? So, you might be saying, well, why would he do that? The reason being is, do you want to leverage or do you want to loan out at 6 to 8%? Or would it be a better financial sense to get a loan at 3.25%? So I said, well, let's just do this for kicks. If we were to refinance your mortgage on a 30-year term, let's just see what that does to your numbers. It drops his payment $1,000 a month. And he was like, dude, you hit it right on the button. He said, let's do it. I want to do it right now. I'm not even going to think twice about it, because that freeing up $1,000 a month right now, that pays my kids' high school tuition, and even gives me a little bit of gap I can start putting away for college. And that wasn't his intent when he called, but once we broke it all down, you're the boss. You make the decision. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw ideas out there. I have 3 kids. 2 are through school already. I have one that's a senior in college. I know what those bills come to. And it's not just your college bills. That's what we're going to go over in a second. When you're buying a house, how much money you need down. A lot of times you don't realize all the additional funds that you need. Send a child to college, it's not just the tuition. You need books. They need to live somewhere. They need food. They need this. They need travel expenses. There's a ton of stuff that goes into it. Long story short, I'm like, you know what? You're getting darn near the same rate that you're at now. We're just stretching that out, reducing your payments $1,000. Now you don't have to borrow at 6-8%, or if you put on a credit card at 15%, you're leveraging your money at 3.25%. So that was my kind of that good news of the day, I guess. I'll put it that way. So I'm flicking through some headlines, and I come across this, and I'm like, you know what? This is a great segment that we could talk about today. How much do you really need when you buy your first house? So I'm not going to go through the article, but here's what I'm going to, basically what this is saying you can get into a home as a first-time home buyer on a 3% down program, first-time home buyer program. In most cases, if you make too much money, we put you into another program either at 3.5% or 5%. So what the article is saying is, let's just make it simple. If you're buying your first home and it's $100,000 purchase, you need 3% down. Pretty simple math. You need $3,000. But there's more. Okay? There's going to be fees for your loan. I always break it down this way. You have fees for the loan, and then you have your legal fees. Okay, so let's break down each little bucket. On the mortgage side of the equation, you normally have, it's about $1,000 fee for the loan part of that. Additionally, you're going to have an appraisal fee that's usually about $500. So those two things are about $1,500 that you're going to need on top of things. So remember, $100,000 purchase, we need 3% down. That's $3,000 plus the $1,000 so far that we need for the loan costs. All right. Now this other spectrum, this is your legal costs. Most states you go to an attorney's office or a title company or an escrow company, and they do what we call title work. And what that title work does, it's mandatory. It's covering you and me as the lender to say this: Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you're buying this house today, and Dan has your mortgage. As of today going forward, nothing in the past can haunt us. Meaning, let's say the people that own the house currently, that we're buying it from, they just put a roof on and a deck, and they didn't pay it. So a year goes by and you hear, guy comes to the door and says, you know what, Mr. Smith, you owe me $15,000 for the roof And that deck, I cut you a deal. Remember that? If you paid cash, I was going to cut it down to $5,000. So you owe me $20,000. And you're like, dude, I never even lived here at that time. So what happens is that title, we call it title insurance, that you tell that person, I tell you what, here's my title insurance company. You call them and you guys figure it out, because I didn't own the house, and this title insurance is ensuring that I don't have these problems. From the day that I bought the house going forward, that's the only issues I have. Anything from the past, I do not have to worry about. Nor do I as the lender. We go and we help you buy this home. Prior taxes, if they're missed, not my fault, and it's not going to affect me, nor is it going to affect you, because that wasn't part of that's why we went and used these attorneys, and we use this title company. So it basically gives you a clean slate when you buy that house, that you have the lien that I give you, the taxes are paid current, and you are good to go going forward. Okay, so I explain that because that could be in some areas, say $5,000. So again, we need the $3,000 for your down payment. We need the $1,000, or I'll say $1,500 for the lender fees. Now we're at $4,500, and then we got $5,000 in title fees. So now we're at $5,500, $5,000 plus what was I saying? $15,000, $1,500 plus $4,500. Man, I am all over the board. Sorry, it's late. It's been a long day. $5,000 plus $1,500 is $6,500. So you're like, Dan, that's a far cry from the $3,000 I thought I was going to need. Yes, it is. And that's why it says here, it's more than you think. However, there might be a way to get through this. I deal with a lot of realtors, so no matter what market you're in, I can help you with the realtor side of things. And you need a good professional realtor that does this full time and knows what they're doing. We're going to go to them and say, you know what, when we're negotiating to buy that house, we're going to say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we'll buy this house from you, but we want you to cover our legal fees, meaning those title fees. That could save you the $5,000. So now, we brought it down to almost back to where you thought you needed to be at the $3,000. On my side of the fence, I can say, you know what, I can get you a rate at 3.25, but if I do 3.5, I can waive all your fees. Between those two things, we brought you all the way back down to the $3,000 that you needed. So yes, it can be a lot more. It's more than you think. I would put in here, it can be more than you think, depending on who you use. And that's why I hope you reach out to me and let me help you if you're looking to buy a house. So there's different programs. We'll go over those tomorrow, but this is my website. It's just go to therateupdate.com, and I'm revising this a little bit. I'm going to add some more graphics because I know it's pretty plain. But when you go here, the best thing to do is just click here. I'm the manager, click me, and then just click apply now. And if it's during office hours, I will get back with you within the hour. I had one lady surprised today because I had a pre-approval back to her within 30 minutes. I actually called her twice during that time frame. Did everything I need and had a pre-approval in her hand. All of that within an hour. And she was kind of flabbergasted. So that's all I need you to do. Just go to therateupdate.com, click me, and go here. If you have a mortgage right now and you're like, can I save any money, or does this, what can I do? Click here and get a rate quote. Well, it'll ask you a couple questions. I'll probably call you or I'll email you and just say, hey, give me just a couple things I need from you. I can run some numbers and get back with you pretty much within the hour. Like I said, if it's during office hours. So if you need pre-approved to buy that dream home and you want help with the realtor and with all this stuff to drive down the money you need for the closing, please reach out to me. I'm licensed right now, and I think we're in 44 states. So if I can't help you, I'll try to find you somebody, maybe a friend of mine that does this in your area. But we're pretty much all over the board. So just click the apply now button. To reach me personally, you can call me at 844-775-5626. Now, for those out there that are already homeowners, I got a kind of a challenge for you. Send me a copy of your mortgage statement if your rate is over 4%. Let's see what we can do. just like the gentleman that called me today and said, Dan, I'm at 2.875. What can you do? We might have some ideas. You might have been off work a little bit and you ran up some credit cards. You might need, home repairs that just need done. So we might not just look to just do your refinance your mortgage. Let's maybe look at trying to consolidate some bills, maybe put some money in your pocket, maybe, put some money in your pocket to do those repairs that you've been putting off for weeks, months, years, decades. And so at least, you can get an idea where those payments put you. And a lot of times you might be surprised. We might go in and say, you have these 4 credit cards, they're at 20% interest rates. You have that mortgage and you have that one student loan. Why don't we put all that together, drive down your payment, and like the gentleman I talked to earlier, he saves $1,000 a month. $1,000. That's crazy. So maybe that could be you. So I hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I'd love to help you there. And click down below and subscribe if you would. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the month. I hope you help me get there. If not, we might have to push it till the end of July to get us there, but I hope you help me get that there. Please don't forget to share, but leave some comments down below. I answer every comment that you post, I promise you. But if you'd like to reach me personally, give me a call right here. And also, if you want to email me, that's probably one of the best ways to get me as well. Just email me at dfrio, which is F-R-I-O, at preferredrate.com. That's D for Dan, Frio, at preferredrate.com. God bless. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.